What's up, guys? It's Jay from Evolution Radio. So, today, acting White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney basically admitted that the Trump administration was part of quid pro quo with Ukraine. And when I say basically, I mean he did. Um, he said that yes, that Donald Trump held up military aid to Ukraine until they moved to investigate a conspiracy involving the 2016 U.S. elections. Then he said, quote unquote, get over it. In speaking with reporters on Thursday at the White House, Mulvaney acknowledged Trump held up Ukraine aid partly for political reasons. Get over it. There's going to be political influence in foreign policy, he added. By Mulvaney telling Trump specifically wanted Ukraine to explore questions related to the DNC server. Um, as a reporter kind of brought it to his attention and said, you know what you're explaining is quid pro quo. And that is when Mulvaney said, yeah, we do that all the time with foreign policy. I have a feeling there's a lot of people, very powerful people, who are going to want to talk to Mick Mulvaney. Trump said that his comment on it was that he had not seen the video or had heard it, but that he stands behind his acting chief of staff. Mick Mulvaney, hours later, tried to retort and kind of pull back from what he said. Um, he basically had said that he didn't say it, and we see this all the time with the Trump administration, where they kind of start just saying they get fed up with defending themselves, and I think that's what happened with Mick Mulvaney. He got tired of it. Look, this is what happened. Just get over it. That was his whole act, and yeah, didn't realize people people can't believe he just said that. He did also say, yeah, I have news for everybody. Get over it. There's going to be political influence in foreign policy. Uh, there shouldn't be. And the fact that that's a reality for him is disturbing. That is, sorry, not a reality as much as a norm. That's a better word for it. That's a normal situation for the Trump administration. That's a problem. And I understand that there's probably people listening who are like, yeah, but that's a normality for every uh, administration. And you're right. You're 100% right. But we can't just say, hey, because he did it, that's okay if he does it. No, we have to put our foot down on every time they do it. That's how they all get away with it. Is people who don't speak out. And the next president, if it is President Bernie Sanders, if he does anything like this, you guarantee I will be one of the first people saying that we need to look into it. Now, and I've said this before because it's the reality, quid pro quo doesn't really mean anything. The Democrats kind of framed it as, oh, we're going after him because of quid pro quo. They don't need to establish that. For some reason, the Democrats kind of put that obstacle in front of them. Without a doubt, they have enough. I mean, if you look into the Constitution, actually, they could impeach him for nothing. I mean, they could be like, well, I don't like his hair. It's stupid. We're going to impeach him. And in fact, interesting enough, they don't even have to tell him they're doing an impeachment. They could just do it. And if you look in the Constitution, the House has total power when it comes to impeachment. When it gets to the Senate, it does change up a little bit, but yeah, I mean, they don't have to do anything. This isn't a criminal investigation. This is an impeachment. Two major different things. You should, if you don't have the time, you should look it up. I'm pretty low on explaining it all. I might do that in an upcoming video this weekend, but I just want to do kind of a short video to explain Mick Mulvaney, and I'm sure we're going to hear some different things about that. The Trump administration will probably just go back on the whole "don't believe your eyes and ears" kind of thing. We've seen it before, but he openly just admitted it, and even when the phrase that sounds like quid pro quo, he's like, "Yeah, we do that all the time." That's crazy. That's just so crazy. So the other story that I've been talking about quite a bit lately is Turkey, Syria, Kurds, and Mike Pence went over, and I said it last night in my last video. I said that Erdogan, the Turkish president, said that he would not meet with anybody but Trump, but apparently he did. He met with Mike Pence. Now, I was kind of right and kind of wrong. I assumed that there would be no deal struck and that Pompeo and Pence would be set packing home. That's not what happened. But I was right on the fact that there would be no real negotiations because Turkey held all the power. And that's basically what Turkey said. Now we're seeing one side of it here in America. For the most part, we're hearing what Pence and the administration is saying. They're saying that this is a ceasefire. That there's another group that they're not supposed to attack. That they have 120 hours to get YPK, which is the Kurds, um, out of that buffer zone. And after that, that there's a permanent ceasefire, and that the Turkish military will also help um, detain ISIS members who have escaped. So Turkey's side of it was, we're fine with this deal. We got everything we wanted. And they go a little bit more into some of the details. For one, there are no more sanctions against Turkey. They will all be lifted, which was huge for them. They wanted the Kurds out of that buffer zone anyway. That's why they started this invasion. So they got that. Um, in fact, a member of Erdogan's team came out and said, "Yeah, we got everything." In fact, when they asked him about that group that's supposed to be attacked, or that they're not supposed to attack, he said he didn't say that, and it's a lie. And I keep saying that group because I can't remember their name. I apologize. It's really, really late. Not to mention that the other thing that they said was kind of a lie is that they never said ceasefire. They said they would put a pause. And there's so many questions that go in on that. The first one, who monitors this? Who watches to make sure that there is no pause or ceasefire, however you want to say it? We don't really know. Um, I'm curious how Syria feels about this. I know that they're not in the best place to speak out, but I mean, it is infringing on their borders majorly, and deals are being done in their country without them being present. It's a very interesting aspect, and we've kind of learned that since U.S. has pulled out, the Kurds, Syria, and Russia are all working together. Could be a potential problem there, especially when we're talking about Turkey now basically being able to go into northern Syria when they want. That's essentially how this seems like it breaks down. I'm sure in the next few days we're going to find out more and more about this deal. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if there was even more that the Kurds or the Turkish got that they wanted. Um, it literally was not a deal. It wasn't. It was a shellacking. But it's better than what the alternative would have been. It was so bad, in fact, that our our own military attacked one of our weapons depots because we couldn't get to it. We had to leave so quickly, and we didn't want to leave the weapons out, so we blew it up. That just kind of gives you an idea. There's probably a good chance that we would have blown up our base that is in Turkey. We would have probably tried our best to get the nuclear weapons out, and then either blown it up or sealed it up. Um, just so we could do everything that we could so Turkey wouldn't be able to get a hold of those weapons. Chances are that we would have been fighting that till the last man because they they really, I mean, it was right in their backyard, and we just had moved more troops out. Um, so we'll see where this goes from here. The Trump administration is kind of doing a victory lap on this, and I think it's just one of those situations where I think people kind of forget or they get so caught up in this. No one says, yeah, but he did this himself, and we're at a worse place than before because not only did we prove that other militaries and other allies can't trust us, we also lost a very strong ally in the Middle East, and we're giving more power to Turkey. And there's been talk like, well, this is all part of the conspiracy, man. I don't know. There's no way. There's no way that Trump and Erdogan are that bright. Because who would have thought that it'd play out like the way it is? Of course, they could have set up around the fringes of the plan and set up a few things in motion, but I don't believe this is some like 4D chess game for Trump to help Erdogan, and I really don't believe that that's the case. I think that we just had President Magoo bumble blank himself into a situation, and Turkey took advantage of him. That's just the way it is. I can't think of any other outcome. Anyway, uh, that's just how I feel about this whole situation. I'll update you guys as much as I can with the deal, the Turkey American deal, ceasefire, quote unquote. I'm sure that for the most part, the story is going to drop out of mainstream media, so I'll keep you updated. Um, and a quid pro quo comment. Again, it really is being hyped up because it doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't. The comment that really means the most was when Mulvaney said we do this all the time with foreign policy. That that is the most important thing that came out of it. The quid pro quo thing was really it it didn't matter. It really didn't. Anyway, the YouTube channel is Community of Ideas on Anchor, Spotify, iTunes, and Google Pod. Scup Revolution Radio. On Facebook, it's Jay Dillon, JAYDYLAN. On Twitter, JC Show VIP. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good night.